Hello, hello. We've got a Gemtronics GTX-5000 here today. This unit was received in unmolested condition, as far as I've noticed so far. And it's still got a nice shine to it. It's not a 100% tube radio. It does have a synthesized PLL in it, which makes it a little more stable, but all the mixers and preamp, driver, final, they're all tubes. Not sure if this is the original microphone that comes with it. I'll have to check in on that a little bit. But other than that, it just came with the AC style cord. One of those 8-pin octals. This can run on 12 volts. This input here will accept the 115 or 12 volts, and you would just change out the plug. I believe it takes about 6 or 8 amps, depending if you receive or transmit. So we're going to go ahead and pop the cover on this, and we'll see what she looks like on side. It has thumb screws, which does make an ease of disassemble. Yeah, looks like I got them all off without using a screwdriver. That's a plus. We'll go ahead and put this mic away. We don't want to scratch that up. Go ahead and remove this cover here for the first time here. You and me can take a look at it. So far, looks pretty good. I don't see any type of bodges anywhere. This is right here. This is your synthesizer. But so far, everything looks about these tubes here, the original. This is the Japanese made radio, and most of them are going to be, yep, as you can see there, Japanese. Let's go ahead and check these other ones here. Yes, made in Japan, made in Japan. Made in Japan, and they all, yes, they all are all original tubes. Unfortunately, so are all the electrolytics. As far as what I know about this radio, it has a hum on a receive and transmit. We're not even going to turn this thing on. We're just going to put some caps in this thing, check some values of some standard resistors, and check for any type of weirdness that we see under the cover. But so far, not even the wax has been removed out of that, and I think that's yeah, that's our frequency adjust there. That's L181, I believe. But other than that, just a little bit of surface there. Now what does it smell like? It doesn't smell like a smoker, so that's good. It has a, see if you can see that here. Has a Pioneer speaker in it. How about that? Yeah, these this same radio, I think it was the Robin 240, I believe, and Colt makes one. Not sure if they were all made in Japan, but these are your two power transistors in the back here, and those are the TO3 type, and they're hidden behind this cover. and that is to turn your 12 volts into your high voltage. So it switches the chops up to 12 volts to get you some AC to power up the rest of this stuff when you're running it mobile. But I am so far I'm happy with what I see. I still see a shine on some of this stuff. How about that reflection there? That's quite amazing. This is mid-70s, I believe. See if we can see a date on this thing here. I do not, and I'm not sure how to decipher that. See if we can get into that. I'm not sure how to decipher that there. But it is 25017-628. Gathering that is the serial number, being as this is a GTX-5000 model. So, hey, you know. Oh, and I was told there's also a problem with the channel selector. Whether that just needs a little bit of cleaning, we will find out. I imagine that all of these are going to be scratchy. They feel very good though. Well, that's a very, I mean, it still has a really nice smoothness to that. Yeah, even this one. Yeah, the D10's real nice still. I don't think this radio's seen much use, honestly. I'd like to bring it back to up and running, get it back on the air here. One of the biggest things you don't want to do when you get some of this old stuff, whether or not they told you it works, if the caps are original, you need to just replace them. You're tempted to plug it in, but if you don't have the right equipment, bring it up on a variac, watch your wattage, watch your power. You're gonna damage some stuff that you may not be able to get, especially these transformers. You know, one of these large caps here, you know, they're original. And some can turn into a big old fat resistor, and bad stuff happens when that occurs. Your best bet, especially when you're starting off with a nice radio, is, even though you're tempted, don't turn it on unless somebody's already done the work to it, and you know this by verifying, you know, that caps everywhere have been replaced, but these haven't. This is all original. So let's go ahead and plop her on over here. I think I'm gonna have to put the camera down, see what we can do here, and we could do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this little Lazy Susan off of here. Thanks to Mr. Charlie Brown. Shout out to him for that. We'll go ahead and get the cover off this thing and take a peek what's behind door number 1. See if we can get you in view here. Yeah, it's good enough. And do keep in mind that you don't know if, especially since you know this was bought online, you don't know if they just had it plugged in prior to you buying it. Treat all caps as they're charged. The first time you get bit by one will be your last. You will not forget to discharge all caps. But you don't want it to have a first time. Cause some serious burns, let alone damaging possible equipment, especially your test equipment. Probing around and you got 450 volts on a cap, you don't want to be doing that with an ohm meter. Especially if you don't have one that has protection. That lead will pop out of your hand quicker than you can even pull it away. And the bottom of this thing is very clean. Let's go ahead and flip this up. Yeah, as you can see there, it's all dust. Doesn't smell like smoke. That's good. So let's take a look. So this is your low voltage power board. All those caps are original. Some of your high voltage stuff here. And same thing as on top. This thing has not been touched, but everything is original, so it's gonna have to be upgraded here. I don't see any signs of tampering here or overheating. Let's get a little poker here so we can poke around. So keep an eye out for stuff like this. These are your high wattage resistors. This one looks very nice, but these higher wattage resistors are going to be the ones that tend to go. Not to say that these smaller quarter watt, half watt resistors aren't common to also go, but just stuff to watch out for. Got a little bit of blackness right there on that one. So you can see that there. Not sure what that's from, but we'll check it out. So there's our fuse there. And it's intact. Yeah, this thing is exceptionally clean for the age. I mean, I don't even see an issue with the zinc. I believe it's a zinc finish on here. It's not even discolored. So that's the GTX-5000 here, 40 channel AM radio, CB. And this is a before shot. We're going to go ahead and replace the electrolytics in here. Do a couple checks on spot checks on these resistors. See if anything has creeped out of spec here. Most of these they're going to be just fine though. Looks like we got about 12 electrolytics axials, and we can actually see, if you can see that one cap, it's hard to tell. Let's see if we can get a better view on this here. Let's try it. It's hard to tell with the camera, but this cap right here has got a bulge. It's got a bulge right at the top. Most of your newer caps are going to have a cross through the top or a K, and that's pretty much that when they fail, they tend to blow open that way. Whereas these older ones, they are just solid, and they usually blow apart through the bottom, or the whole case breaks apart. But yeah, that cap is definitely suspect. That might be the reason why we had a hum, but we really don't care. We're replacing them all. We're not even going to stop and think about some of these. But you know, where you can see voltage on your caps here, where you can read them. There's this one. It's 47 microfarads at 350 volts. So you could safe to say that there is at least 325 max. There should be no more than that. You don't want to be maxing out the voltage on your caps, but just say there's 325 volts maximum on this rail, on this circuit. You don't want that touching you. Take your precautions, and if you follow along and you do any of this work, you do it at your own risk. You need to have the knowledge before you start digging into stuff, especially the older tube stuff. It's high voltages. Other than that, you're on your own. Play safe. I am definitely happy with this. It's a good clean start. Take a look at a couple things. We'll go ahead and replace the caps and bring it slowly up on some voltage and check the current pull, and then we'll go ahead and pay attention to this channel selector and see exactly what it does. You got to be careful sometimes when you're running into repairs. You don't want to just go through and blab everything out at one time. Verify your issue. We know caps are bad, we're just going to replace them. Will that take care of other things? It possibly will. But you don't want to start just running through and rummaging the whole thing and replacing stuff that may not be bad. You know, I have been told that there's a problem with the channel selector. Could it be an LCD display? Well, we don't know yet. Everything's going to be lubed anyways, but if you don't verify it, you won't know. Alright, this is the Bandit here. So I appreciate you for watching, and we'll be back with more of this GTX Gemtronics 5000.